have a bit of a public safety announcement. I've been doing this a long time, so I've seen a lot of shit. Today I'm going to show you a simple, quick, easy, safe way to install your fuel pump into your factory fuel pump hanger. We're going to disconnect power supply to the pump. I'm going to snip the fuel supply out. A little arrow there. So let's get the basket off. Sort of pry each clip one by one while keeping force on it and pull it out. You don't want to be too rough because you don't want to pull the return out of its spot inside. So we've got that out. We just want to flex it over to get the pump out. Look how filthy this is. Check out how dirty that is. This is from an FG. I don't know how many Ks are on it. We're gonna have a look later, but it's even got some carbon build-up and shit there. Now, pump. That should come straight out. Now we're here, while it's in my hand. To fit the 460, we just need to trim some of this off. So basically I cut all the way around at this level. So you can use shears or something. It's not gonna be the neatest, but it's gonna do what we need to do without causing any dramas. It's cut all the way around, so that gives us a little bit more height to fit the bigger 460 pump. I use the 267 model. That's just the Walbro 460. It has the most efficient current draw for the flow. We don't want to overcurrent the hanger because you'll end up melting the pins on the factory plastic pump hanger, right? So if you try and put a 525 or 530, you're probably going to melt this over time. Whether it happens straight away or in 6 months or 12 months, it's going to happen. The 460 has more than enough flow that your single pump factory hanger will handle. So there's zero benefit of going anything bigger. I'm going to show you something super crucial, right? This connector and the pins, and then the pins on your factory harness. Let's pull this out. This is the factory harness, right? A lot of people will cut and join and put that there, and it just leads to hot spots and higher current draw, potential fire hazard, like not safe. I'm going to show you a way to do this without any of that. The pins in here, in this connector, are the same as the pins in this connector, right? And this connector goes to your Walbro pump. That's going to clip in there, yeah? So then we're going to pull out the retainer, the screwdriver. Inside here, we're going to stick a long skinny thing. Doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's going in there, it's not going to damage the pin. Go down in there, and that's going to allow it to come out, all right? Don't pull it out yet, because we need to remember which color's which, all right? Same here. So this is the one that's just been supplied by Walbro. We're going to pull this plastic external cover off, all right? Red is power, ground is black. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to stick the pick in there, releasing it. We're going to pull the black one out first. So this is out. Only do one at a time, that way you don't forget which one goes where. Otherwise, if you put them in the wrong polarity, your pump's going to run backwards and you're not going to get any fuel pressure. Black out, black out. Now there's a little tongue here. I'll try and get close. You see there's a little tongue here. Just need to expand that back out so it's going to re-clip. That is what we pushed out when we released it by pushing this in here. So now we're just going to push it back out. Don't go too extreme, you don't want to break it off. It's plenty, right? Check which direction it's going to go. It's only going to go in one way. So it's that direction, and that's just going to slip in there like that. Nice and tight. Look at that. No cuts, no crimps, no nothing, right? It's the factory connector. Again, we're going to do the other one. Out. Reset the spring, retainer, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. Likewise in here. Push in there. Release it. Out. Ready. Straight back in. Right direction. Right polarity. All done. No crimps, no joins, no nothing. Put that back in. Killer, all right? That's ready. It's done. It's your electrical done. We're going to use a Teflon flexi hose, right? Not just a rubber that's going to crack or break or come off. We're going to put that on there. It is a snug fit. You do have to work it on there. Then we've got a hose clamp here as well. Whack him on there. Okay, we're going to keep tightening this up. Be careful, you don't want to crush it. There is a check valve in the tip of this fuel pump, so yeah, you don't want to crush it. You just want it tight enough that's not going to come off. remembering that this is going to be under about 58 psi constant pressure, plus more with boost. Nice and tight. Okay, now I like to clean out the module because it's full of crap. Pump, let's feed these two back up through the hole. There is a, pull that out, push that in, get the new sock. Nice. Now get this back in there. Now this hanger is going to drop back in. Now get your other hose clamp, get that on there ready. I'm going to do a bit of a 180 twist, sit in there like that, and then we're going to, again, a bit of force up onto that barb, and you want it to go all the way up, all the way snug until it's touching the top. Can you see that? And now we'll get that hose clamp, bring him all the way around to the top, and let's tighten him up. Once again, don't crush the fucking thing, just tight. Nice. Tug test, it's still hard up against there. The pump one's still on. We're almost done. Now we'll just route this big connector in a way that's not going to interfere with the pump module collapsing. So we'll probably get him under there. We'll get our connector, plug it in. I actually removed this rubber because I found that they swell, which is super strange, right? You'd expect them to be fit for purpose, but anyway, it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. I pull it out, plug that in now. He's going down like that, up and in. Plug back in your fuel pump to the factory module, up, in. You want to hear it click, obviously. Click, click, click. It's in. Awesome. That can still press up and down. Nothing's jammed, nothing's gonna rub through, nothing's gonna catch on fire. Perfect. One last step, the venturi. This needs to be drilled, right? I'll tell you why in a second once I show you. So when you put a 460, you need to also upgrade your fuel pressure regulator. Otherwise, your fuel pressure is going to be higher than 4 bar. And what that's going to do with the factory ECU is make idle and cruise a little bit shitty because the fuel pressure is not going to be able to go below 4 bar, or sometimes it's like 80 pounds sometimes, depends on the car. And it's just going to make a lot of things hard. It's not going to run very well as reduce the flow of your pump, because higher fuel pressure makes it harder for the pump to work, which reduces its flow capacity. So we want to work it within its limits and drop it back down to 4 bar. Now this is the venturi that just pops out of the bottom there. If you can see this small hole here at the end, if you don't drill that, that is going to be smaller than the fuel regulator that you install, and is going to be regulating your fuel pressure, so you're not going to be able to drop it any lower than it is. Bit of a balancing act, because you don't want to go too big, because then your venturi effect is not going to work. And what that means is this is actually hooked up to the return, so the return comes through here, through there, into here, and it sprays back up into the module. So it's effectively collecting any fuel that's returning back into the module to keep this full, to reduce the chances of surge. We're going to drill that hole to 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters is perfect. You should not have to go any more. You should not have to go any less. Grab a drill bit. Don't fucking drill all the way through. You just want to drill the top bit, and don't drill into your finger. Give it a blow, clean up the end with a knife, and you'll end up with a nice 4 millimeter hole. Now that's going to still retain your venturi effect, but it's not going to restrict your fuel regulator or increase your fuel pressure. Now your fuel regulator is going to be the smallest part of the fuel system, which is what it's meant to do. We're going to knock this back in, make sure it clips, and we're all done. That's ready to go back in. Thanks for watching.